Hey everybody! Today we're making chocolate orange scones. And to get started, we have 5 cups of flour in this bowl right here, with a little extra flour reserved for later. We have, to mix all of our dry ingredients together, this is 5 teaspoons of baking powder and 3/4 teaspoon baking soda. It's gonna go in. We have the zest from 1 large orange. And we have 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 9 tablespoons of sugar, and 1/2 cup of mini chocolate chips. We're gonna go ahead and mix that all together. And once it's all well blended, we're gonna add in 1 whole cup or 2 sticks of cold butter. It's very important to remember to use cold butter. And we're going to use a pastry cutter to cut the butter in until you get what they call either wet sand consistency or little pea-like granules in there. And this can take a little while, so be patient with it. Just turn it all, make sure it's all getting incorporated in all of the flour. And just keep cutting. Don't worry about trying to knock it off or anything like that. Just keep pushing down into the butter. You'll keep cutting it up smaller and smaller. This recipe is really quick, really easy, and amazingly delicious. You guys are gonna love this. You can make it quick and easy for breakfast or a dessert. Takes all but an hour to make, with mixing it all together and baking it, letting it cool, and being able to put the icing on. So an hour from start to finish. You can see the flour is starting to change a consistency here. If you get a little squeeze, it'll kind of start holding together. You'll see those little pea-like granules in there. That's how you know you're ready. At this point, you want to make a little well in here. You're going to add in 2 whole eggs and 1 1/4 cup of thick buttermilk. The richer, the better buttermilk. It's amazing that way. Get that all in there. Take your wooden spoon here, give that all a mix. We're gonna break up those egg yolks. Get that all mixing together. These aren't muffins. You don't have to be delicate with it. You just want to start getting that moisture incorporated into the flour. Really get it all to combine together. It's going to be a really thick and sticky dough to start off with. But as you work it, it's going to get a little drier. It's going to be very similar to a pie dough consistency. You're going to want to work in a little more gluten than pie dough. You want these things to hold together a little more. Well, as it starts coming together and the spoon isn't doing the trick anymore, it's time to get dirty. Get your hands in there, work it all together. I'm going to try to bring all the ingredients together in this bowl, and then we're going to turn it out onto the table and knead it a few times. So you want it all to kind of be mostly incorporated before that happens. You can start kind of kneading it here in the bowl. Go ahead and clean your fingers as you go. Sometimes a good idea to take the wedding ring off before you do this, but I love my wife, so I keep it on. Everybody out there, give a big shout out to Jasmine. She's our videographer today. We love you. There we go. See, it's all starting to come together. And you see that well disbursement of all those chocolate chips in there. That's why I like to use the minis. They spread around a little better. All right, so I'm gonna take the flour, give it a good coating. Get all those goodness out of the bowl right on top of there. Bring everything in, flatten it out, and knead it out a few times. Get everything really well incorporated. Don't worry about overworking it. Like I said, it's not muffin dough. This stuff is gonna be a little denser. Gonna need a little bit of a chew to it, so we like to work it a little bit more. It's getting a little sticky and sticking to everything. Throw a little flour down, That's why I like to keep a small bowl of flour by. This recipe is going to make 16 scones. So if you'd like to make a smaller batch, you can either cut it in half, or I'll be nice to you guys and I will put the recipe in the description. So you guys will be able to see, I'll put both the full recipe and the half recipe in there. So you will be able to determine how many you want to make for your family. So as it starts to come together, you want to work it into a big ball without any creases showing. So you want to work it till those creases kind of work themselves into one big uniform piece. Nice and smooth looking, like a big roll. Pull down the sides. There we go. We're gonna take our pastry cutter here and cut this in half. Half off to the side. A little extra flour, get a little sticky. So you want to pat it out nice and flat into a disc, and it's approximately 8 inches across. Take your pastry cutter, cut that into 8 beautiful little scones. And do the same thing with the next piece. All right, there we have our 16 scones. Let me grab our baking pan. All right, so we got them all ready to go into the oven, but first, this is a great little trick. Take a little bit of half and half or heavy cream. You brush tops of each scone. This helps keep it from cracking. Makes the top look really, really clean and finished. Trust me, you're gonna wanna do this for your scones. All right, And those go into the oven for 12 to 15 minutes or until they're done, and you can stick a toothpick in them, pull it out, and it comes out clean. Just make sure you keep an eye on them. All ovens do cook differently. All right, now we're gonna make the glaze. So you're gonna take that orange that we zested earlier, cut it in half. You're probably only gonna use about half the juice, not even half the juice. So here I have 2 cups of powdered sugar, and the juice from half an orange. We'll see how much that makes. It really does not take much juice at all. So we'll see how that looks. As you mix it, it's going to look like absolutely nothing's happening. You'll see a little liquid forming here in the bottom. That's just going to keep showing up and getting a little bigger until you incorporate all of that powder into it. So I have maybe 2 tablespoons of orange juice in here right now. And that looks like it's going to be a little bit dry. So you just want to squeeze a little more into there. Keep mixing. It'll all become easily incorporated. The finished product should be really thick, yet be able to be spread. And it sounds like our scones are ready. And then to glaze them, just take a spoon, scoop some on while they're still warm. Not right out of the oven, but you want them to be warm. This is going to go on really thick. As the scone melts the glaze, it's going to kind of drizzle it all over itself. I just take little spoonfuls, dab it on, push it around a little bit so I know it's going to spread itself around pretty evenly. This big boy here gets a little more. That was Papa's scone. You'll notice they have really nice top to them, really nice shine. That's because we put that half and half on there. And as it's melting, you can kind of spread it a little bit more. Make sure it gets good coverage. Just use the back of the spoon to kind of push it around. There we go.